Hi, my name is Steve Maher. I'm the Ergonomics guy, and recently I got an email from a guy named Trevor, who's a pretty avid gamer. He'll play 8 to 10 hours a day, asking about how he could make changes to his workstation to decrease the pain that he's having in his wrists and forearms. And so what I did is I made a video for him explaining the changes, and that's what I presented here. This case study is about how to set up the gaming workstation given his parameters. So take a look. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you if you're having issues with your setup, either whether it's gaming or whether it's your office, to see if I can help you work more effectively and comfortably. So please enjoy this video, this case study on setting up a gaming workstation for Trevor. Thank you. Hey, Trevor, this is Steve Maher. I'm the ergonomics guy, and you sent me some pictures of your workstation this morning asking for some help with your wrist because you're a competitive gamer, which is great. So first off, thanks for the pictures. And I just want to go over them with you and see if we can come up with some solutions for you. And it's much easier for me to just talk and send you an MP4 than to try and type because I suck at typing. So the first thing is here you are in your chair, and this is a pretty typical gaming style chair. And the issue is a couple things. One, I think the seat pan here is actually a little bit too deep. So if you sit back to try and get any back support here, it's actually hitting your calf. And so what's going to tend to happen is you're going to start moving forward in the chair. And as soon as you do that, then you start to slump. And so then your back, and you can kind of see it with actually the line in your shirt. What will happen is your pelvis kind of rolls back a little bit like this, and your spine comes into this big C shape like that, okay? And then you got this big blockhead up here. There you go, Charlie Brown. But the thing is, if you're in that shape, it's putting a lot more stress not only on your wrist, but also your shoulders. Whoops, can't draw too well. But your shoulders here, as well as your low back right there. And so if your chair isn't giving you good support, what's going to happen is you're going to rest on your forearms and you're going to put more pressure on your wrists, but not only on your wrists, but your elbows as well. And that's a problem because you have nerves that run through the inside of your elbow. Okay, so they come down from your shoulder inside of your elbow into your ring and little finger. That's called your ulnar nerve, and it can be compressed at your elbow, also known as your funny bone nerve. And that can, again, cause numbness in your fingers and make it hard for you to move the mouse and hit the keys, because if you're compressing the nerve, it can't send signals correctly, and that can be a problem. The other thing is, as you start reaching forward, you're getting no support here. And again, that's going to cause you to slump and put your shoulders in an awkward position. And then you're going to be reaching more, and as soon as you start to reach, you start looking for support, and you're going to put it right along here on your forearms. But then to get to the keyboard, you're going to have to hold your wrist back up at an angle like that, which is going to expose your carpal tunnel and also irritate the muscles of your forearm there. So the muscles in the back of your forearm lift your hand up, and it's called extensor tendonitis, or golfer or tennis elbow, and so your forearms can start to hurt too. So your carpal tunnel is your wrist, and this is a great picture you sent me right here. Your carpal tunnel is this area right here. It's made up of 8 little bones that sit all in here, okay? And they give you great flexibility. On the thumb side, you have your median nerve that runs in and up into your thumb and first 2.5 fingers, like that. Your ulnar nerve, the one on your pinky side, runs right here, just the inside of that little red spot, and then up into your pinky and ring finger right there. Okay, so if you're putting a lot of compression on this spot, this is called your pisiform. It's one of the 8 bones of your wrist. But when you put pressure there to move your mouse, you kind of grind it back and forth. That irritates that ulnar nerve that runs right there. And again, that's going to cause numbness in these 2 fingers. And the other thing that can irritate your wrist, actually both of your wrists, is that you're holding them in an extended position. So here's your forearm coming along like this, and then to get your hand up on the mouse, you're reaching up. And so as soon as you do that, you expose that carpal tunnel right in there, and then you tend to compress those nerves. And this is actually a really good picture on this side, on your left hand, because you're reaching down like this, and then your wrist is coming right back up. You have a wrist rest that's built into your keyboard right there, but it's hard plastic, so it really isn't supporting your wrist at all. It's actually making things a little bit worse. And you're directing all that pressure right into that carpal tunnel, and that can affect the nerve both on the lateral side, the pinky side, as well as the thumb side, and that can cause numbness on both sides. So how do we fix it? Which is really why you contacted me in the first place. What I would do is get first thing. I'll be down in a minute. Okay. First thing I would do is, sorry, my daughter's calling me for dinner. First thing to do is think about a better chair. But if you're going to use this one, take these armrests off. They're so big and bulky, they just get in the way. They keep you from getting close to the desk. So pop those off. Then what I'd have you do is take a pillow and lean forward like this from the hips and then drop a pillow back here behind you. And what that's going to do is give you more back support here so that you can stay in a more upright position. Then, if you can, take your desk and lower it so that your keyboard is about belly button level. So your arms will be relaxed at your side, bent 90 degrees, and your wrists are nice and straight. You could even have it just a little bit lower so you can float a little bit more so you're not reaching, and that's going to take a lot of stress off your mid back, your low back, your shoulders, and your elbows and your wrists because you won't be reaching so much. The other thing you could think about is to replace this pad here with a soft pad. I think you said something about getting a gel pad or a beanbag chair pad, which is great. I'd probably prefer a soft gel to the pad because I think those kernels can get kind of hard and actually irritate your wrist. Yeah, the keyboard is standard. There's not much you can do there. You could play with different styles of mice. Can't tell if that's wired or not. You could think about a larger mouse that might fit your hand better. There are some pads that you can get, and I'll look it up, maybe get you some information, but I think a wrist rest right here would be a good idea. So when you're mousing, your wrist is straighter because it'll be supported a little bit more, but it will also be padded, so you won't put so much pressure into this area, and you won't be getting that big red spot because that is trouble. That's going to cause some serious damage over time. Yeah, so what I'd say is take the armrests off, support your back, lower your desk down to here, get a couple of wrist rests for the keyboard and the mouse, and that should help. Take breaks as often as you can. So every 20 minutes, if you can stand up or move or just get away from the computer. I'd love to know what exercises your therapist has you doing. I'd be happy to give you some other exercises there. The other thing we can think about is maybe a vertical mouse. And what they do is they have these sort of blobby shaping mice like that. And so you grab it with your hand in this position. So there's a finger, there's a finger, there's a finger, there's a finger, and your thumb comes around, right? And your wrist is now in this position. So it's straight. So you're not putting any pressure into the carpal tunnel. The pressure is going more onto the side of your hand. I don't know if it would be as accurate or as good for your gaming, but if you're just taking a break and just kind of goofing around a little bit, it may help take a lot of stress off your wrist. So that's what I think about doing. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or send me another email. And I'd love to know more about your gaming. So actually send me an email. I'd love to start a conversation with you about what exercises you're doing, how you train for your tournaments and stuff, and what equipment you're using. So I hope that helps. I'll send that off and let me know what you think. Thanks a lot.